Let us discuss this concept modulus, or you can say absolute value, or simply we can call it as mod. We have already studied this concept mod in either 11th standard or 12th standard. So I think according to you, when we apply mod, okay, if there is positive number, it will give positive number, but if there is negative number, you remove that minus sign and whatever the answer you can write it. For example, if I ask you the value of mod 2, you will say 2, but if I ask for mod minus 2, what you will do, you will remove that minus sign and you will write it is 2. Getting? So this is your definition, but let us see what is actual definition of modulus. Okay, so that modulus is defined in this way. If you have any real number, then its modulus is defined as it is equal to x if x is greater than or equal to 0, and it is minus x, okay, if x is less than 0. So that means same. Mod 3. 3 is greater than or equal to 0. That means 3 is positive. Then you have to write the same value. But if you are talking about minus 5, see, minus 5 is less than 0. It's negative. So that's why you have to write minus sign to x. That means minus sign to minus 5, minus minus plus, and you will have 5. Actually, we are getting same, which you have already studied in 11 and 12, but this is the actual definition of modulus, or you can say absolute value. Okay, so after that we are going to see some properties, few interesting properties of modulus. Okay, so I will mention here properties. Okay, first property. So these are very simple properties, you are agree with me. So the first property is mod x is greater than or equal to 0. That means mod x cannot be negative. Okay, by definition we can easily write this is true for all x belongs to R, set of real numbers. Second property, mod x is same as mod minus x for all x belongs to R. That means mod 2 and mod minus 2, both of them are same, which is 2. So that's why we can write in this way. Third, mod x is equal to maximum of x and minus x. Okay, for example, suppose you are calculating mod 2, so which is equal to, according to this definition, mod 2 is equal to maximum of 2 and minus 2. So what is its maximum? 2. So that means, yeah, we are getting the same answer, right? And if you want mod minus 3, so let us follow this definition. So what can we write here? Maximum of minus 3, correct? X, whatever the x, we have to write it there, and minus x, that means minus of minus 3. So what will happen? Maximum of minus 3, minus minus plus, and you will have this one. So what is maximum of minus 3 and 3? Obviously 3. So that means we are getting mod of minus 3 is 3 again. Getting? So this is also true. So using this example, we have seen it is true. So let us go for the fourth one. Fourth one is mod x into y is equal to mod x into mod y. That means if there is multiplication, you can take separate mod. It's a very important thing. Next property, that is mod x upon y is equal to mod x upon mod y. That means in case of division also you can take separate mod. Getting? Next property, mod x plus y less than or equal to mod x plus mod y. Here we do not get equality. Getting? We are getting equality in case of division, we are getting equality in case of multiplication, but we never get equality. Okay, in few cases you can get equality, but here the general relation is less than or equal to. That means if you take separate mod, either you will have more value or you will have equal value also. Getting? So these are very interesting and important properties. See, one more thing I am going to tell you that is very important. That means in first year, second year, third year, we are going to use that property. So that is very important, that mod x is less than or equal to y if and only if. So this is the short form of if and only if. If and only if, that means in both way you can go. If and only if minus y less than or equal to x less than or equal to y. So this is a very important property. Okay, so these are very important 7 properties. You can make a screenshot of it, and after that we will go further. Please make a screenshot of it. Okay, so let us see now open interval. Okay, what is meaning of it? So we denote open interval in this way, a comma b, which is defined as it contains all real numbers which lie between a and b. Get it? So that means if this is a real line, there is some point a, there is another point b. So this is a set of all numbers which are greater than a but less than b. That means number between a and b. Okay, but a and b are not members of this set. That this is very important. That means a and b are excluded. We consider points which lie between a and b, but we do not consider a and b. So this is called an open interval. Next concept is closed interval. Okay, I will write here. Next concept is close interval. Okay, we write in this way. Just a minute. I will write here. Close interval. We write square brackets here. Okay, which is equal to x belongs to R, A less than or equal to x less than or equal to b. Can you tell me the difference between these two definitions? Here also we write x belongs to R. Here we write x belongs to R. A less than x less than b. Here we write a less than or equal to x, x less than or equal to b. That means equality is also possible here. That means here what we do, so a and b, if I write in this way, we denote closed interval in this way by square brackets. Okay, so it contains all points between a and b, as well as a also member of this set and b is also member of this set. That means a and b are included here. In this case, a and b are excluded. We do not consider a and b. We consider only those points which lie between a and b. But in this example, we consider points which lie between a and b, as well as we consider point a and point b. So here we consider boundary points, here we do not consider boundary points. So this is the difference between open interval and closed interval. Here I can give one example. I can write here one example, that is open interval 2, 3. That means 2, 3 points are not included here. I can give one example, closed interval 3, 5. That means all points between 3 and 5 as well as 3 and 5. So the next concept I will write here, semi-open or semi-closed interval. Semi-open or semi-closed interval. Okay, see, it means out of this, any interval has two boundary points normally in this case. So see, out of these two, one boundary point is included but other boundary point is not included. That means it is excluded. For example, I can write, so this is close at A, open at B. So can you tell me its definition? Can you tell me its definition in this way? What can I write there? I can write x belongs to R. Get it? A less than or equal to x. Since it is close at A is included, but strictly less than B because B is excluded. B is not member of this set. Okay, and the second set is open at A, close at B. Can you tell me its definition? It can be written as x belongs to R such that A strictly less than x, since A is not a member of this family but B is a member of this family, less than or equal to B. So these are semi-open or you can say semi-closed intervals. Okay, you can make a screenshot of it and after that we will go further. See, the next concept is intervals of infinite length. Okay, so that means interval a comma infinity. Okay, so it is a set x belongs to R such that a less than x. See, there is no any upper bound. It is going to infinity. That means if you have interval, this is a real line, some point A is here. That means we have all points which are greater than A, and it is going to infinity. Getting my point? Point A is not included here since it is an open interval. Getting? So if we have closed interval A to infinity, then we will have this way, x belongs to R such that A less than or equal to x. That means all points which are greater than a or equal to a also. In this case also, we have all points which are greater than a, but here we consider point a also, it is included here. Getting? Similarly, it is going to infinity here, and here also it is going to infinity. So the next interval is minus infinity to a. So it will be like this: x belongs to R such that x less than a. That means suppose this is a real line and point A is here. So that means we consider all points which are less than a, but point A is not included here. Getting? Next is minus infinity to close at a. That means x belongs to R such that x less than or equal to a. That means all points, suppose point A is here, all points less than a or equal to a. Getting? So next interval is minus infinity to infinity. Getting? From in the right hand side we have a minus infinity to infinity, so entire real line. So this is nothing but R. So these are intervals of infinite length. If you want, you can make a screenshot of it, and we will stop. Thank you. Bye bye.